Greetings, Culture Warriors. This is Jeff Vieira, author of Culture is Everything, and your host for this Dispatch from the Front. Today we're back to some pandemic coverage, and we're going to talk a little bit about how the pandemic is affecting hiring and firing. One of the main sub-themes of the book is that we need to adjust our hiring and firing practices to put culture first, to make sure that we've got the right people from a cultural point of view on board as the company navigates its way through its strategy. This article comes to us from CNBC. Its headline is Coronavirus Hiring: How Recruiters Are Selecting and Interviewing Job Candidates During the Pandemic. And it's by Scott Steinberg. With a record 36.5 million Americans now unemployed and roughly 16% of the country's workforce currently sidelined in the wake of coronavirus-related concerns, finding full-time work remains elusive for many. But even as financial markets remain volatile and 95% of the population remains under stay-at-home orders, companies in many fields such as technology, telecom, and healthcare continue to engage in mass hiring. To meet explosive growth in demand across these sectors due to the virus, corporate recruiters are increasingly turning to new technologies to court and engage prospective hires in an age of remote work and social distancing. Modern-day job seekers looking to find open positions, ace interviews, and stand out to potential employers would do well to adapt to their strategies. Today's recruiting environment has never been more challenging, notes Aman Brar, CEO of talent recruitment platform JobVite. As a result, recruiters are leveraging a wide variety of methods and tactics to connect with prospective candidates. The current climate has forced many companies to step up their use of new technologies. While many of the platforms being used to facilitate hiring have been available for years, use of them has increased tremendously in recent weeks. According to the research by JobVite, 84% of recruiters are currently adapting their hiring processes to facilitate remote exchanges. Of them, 58% are now using social media networks like LinkedIn, Facebook, and even Instagram to connect with potential hires, while nearly half are increasing the number of postings they make on these services to advertise open positions. A growing army of recruiters are likewise turning to video conferencing solutions to screen and interview candidates as well, with as many as 8 in 10 now making it a key part of the hiring process. Digital communication tools such as artificially intelligent job outreach programs and text messaging are also increasingly being implemented as a means of connecting with candidates, even as 55% of recruiters are also falling back on phone calls to source potential hires. In addition, more and more firms are looking to leverage analytic tools which can scan resumes and data input to automatically surface key insights and information at a glance with each passing day as well. This crisis has led us to reimagine recruiting, admits Michael Wright, global head of talent acquisition for media investment company GroupM, who says the firm has been moving towards digital recruitment processes for years. We immediately adapted our artificial intelligence-driven video interview tools to be more empathetic and more contextually aware than they were pre-COVID. We've also set up what we're calling video handshakes, which are more focused on discovering what people can be and become, rather than what they do and have done previously in their career. As a result of these shifts, job seekers shouldn't expect just video interviews to be a de facto standard and the hiring process to take much longer lately, says Abby Kohut, president of recruitment firm AbsoluteAbby.com. They should also expect to interact with AI-driven tools, that is, chatbots or software programs smart enough to pass for human, which can screen candidates, ask interview questions, answer questions that they may have on the fly more frequently. Talent acquisition platforms which automate the applications process by scanning applicants' resumes for specific skills and experience, and smart texting tools capable of conducting recruitment outreach and facilitating communications throughout the hiring process are also on the rise. These shifts in hiring practices may continue to resonate with recruiters long after COVID-19's impact begins to trail off as well. New data from Aptitude Research Partners shows that the amount of companies who have invested or plan to invest in chatbot solutions has jumped over 500% in the last year alone. 80% of the users are happy with the technology. Likewise, more than 9 in 10 organizations who've turned to text-based recruiting methods have chosen to stick with them, with nearly 2/3 of workers preferring this type of communication to an email or phone call, according to the 2019 Job Seeker Nation report. Many companies with partial or no remote work policies are now having to grapple with a shift to working from home, which means that the way companies recruit and hire has been forced to evolve, suggests Darren Murph, head of remote for software development platform GitLab. Head of remote, I guess, is his title. Companies that are still able to hire in the current economic climate are looking to virtual tactics to grow their teams. Utilizing traditional job-seeking strategies, creating simply formatted resumes so a computer can easily read them, and peppering popular search term keywords throughout these documents when applying for positions can still serve prospective hires well, says Mark Mencher, founder of GameRecruiter.com. All right. There's more there. You can check out the rest of the article. It's, as you can tell from my relaying it, it's generally of a piece of articles which are fairly poorly written. So it can be a little bit of a challenge to understand it as you go through. And it's also obviously kind of just quote mined and slapped together. But if we can extract some nuggets from it, it would be this. The company's solution to the current broken pipeline through the applicant tracking systems has been to double down on applicant tracking systems. So the problem that you have there is that, especially in a time of crisis where you've exposed the behaviors that are going to be most essential to your company moving forward, especially in the area of flexibility and resilience and true devotion to the company's mission, those behaviors do not really fit into a keyword tracking system. They're generally uncovered through other means than the resume. The resume is, this is what I did, and this is what the impact of that was. This was the title I had. This was how long I had this job. That's what your resume is. You can data mine your resume as much as you like, and you're going to find it difficult to understand how the person actually behaves. Can you glean something? Sure. But the simple keyword search chatbot stuff that they're talking about isn't going to get the job done. And what makes it worse is, with so many people unemployed, you have more people hitting up the system than ever before. So if you had 300 applicants for a job opening before, you're probably looking at 3,000 to 30,000 now. And so you can understand the allure of having some way to sift through that many resumes, but it just builds upon itself, because what happens is applicants start gaming the system. They take a look at your job description, they pull your keywords out of your job description, and then they slam those keywords onto their resume so they can pass your screen. So all that means is that you get more candidates through that screen who aren't really good fits. And it means that you can't see the candidates that you rejected who would have been good fits, because you're laboring under the false impression that the best fit for somebody at your company is someone who has done that exact same role before. Well, why do people take jobs? They take jobs to put a roof over their head, they take jobs to earn money, and they take jobs to grow, to develop experience that they did not have on day one of the job. The number one attraction that a given job has to people is generally that opportunity to grow. Hey, I've never done sourcing before. This job gives me the opportunity to do some sourcing. I can grow. And then you take that job. But if the only candidates who get through are people who are lifetime sourcing people, well, you've excluded people looking to grow in that area, haven't you? They don't even make it to the interview, the phone interview. So the folly in building these systems the way we have is that we're ensuring that what you're going to get for most of these roles is somebody who will be bored because there's no opportunity for growth and who may not be a culture fit for you. That's the prime candidate you're selecting for in using these systems. Now, wouldn't it be better to have an idea of who best fits your company, to know the kind of behaviors and values you're looking for, and instead to fish in that pond. Because let's face it, job roles, even if they're well defined, jobs change over time. And the best indicator of someone's long-term success is not what they've done in the past. It's not what they're doing right now in the job. It's if they so closely identify with the company and its mission that they'll remain devoted to it. And whatever job needs to be done, they will do. You know, you talk to hiring managers, and what they tell you is that, look, we can train skills. If somebody doesn't have the skills for the job, they can learn them. We can teach them. But if they don't have the attitude necessary to be successful in the job and in the company, there's no amount of training that is likely to get them where they need to be. At least not in the time frame that the business will need them to be there. And so it's kind of sad to see that the lesson that people are taking from the pandemic and the need to restaff is, oh, I need to crank through as many of these as possible. You know, oh, I just want to find a 100% match. Give me a 100% match on all those skills. Great. Those will be the people that I talk to. But it's not a winning strategy, because you had people who would have been a great fit for your team and your company and who would have learned something on the job, who you threw into the do not call pile. Because that's the way the system works. That's the way things are done around here. It's a huge mistake, because culture is everything. So one thing to consider as you look at your hiring processes, instead of giving a bunch of money to a bunch of people who want to do text data mining on resumes, instead of doing that, why not invest a little bit of time into really thinking about the kind of teammate who will be a good teammate? And then work with your HR partner, your recruiter, and come up with 3 questions, just 3, that will help you determine whether somebody has that fit. And then what I want you to do is set the filters on that applicant tracking system and exclude anyone with a 100%. Just exclude them. You can presume that there's not much in the job that will keep them around if they're interested in growth. And if they're not interested in growth, do you want them around? Exclude 100% values on that match. So it's got to be something less than 100%. Now, when you've excluded the 100%, you kind of take your batch of candidates there and then start calling some back. Talk to them about those 3 questions, or have them submit the 3 questions with their application, whatever works for you. Take the best of those answers and now have your deep discussion with them. Because if they answer those 3 questions that you're going to create to see culture fit, these are going to be people that you want to talk to. These are going to be people who could work out. And even if you decided that they weren't a fit for this role, after talking to them, you may well decide there's another role that they'd be a great fit for, and they should have another conversation. So my advice from the culture warrior perspective is stop doing the same old thing that's getting you an awful lot of candidates to sort through to no real avail, undermining your own company culture in the process. Instead, flip the switch and do culture first. Put that first and foremost in your consideration before your applicant tracking system. And see if you don't get a much better candidate pool as a result. Takes a little more upfront work. But in the end, when you consider all the cost of hiring somebody who is terrible in the locker room, you'll see the value in it. Because let's face it, the hiring process is bad enough, and culture is everything. Thank you. Have a great day.